Hello guys, it's Josh from Skybox. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of an out there one. I'm going to be reviewing Screamland. Historical, review of Screamland Margate 2016. This is a bit of one that I feel like I'm just doing for myself. So I remember I can go back and, I can watch this, listen to this and go back in time in the future, because I'm not always going to remember these mazes so vividly. So yeah. First thing, Screamland Margate, obviously set in Dreamland Margate, which is a park that has seen a lot of change since I've last been in 2017. But they used to have a Halloween event. They got rid of it, unfortunately, but they had a brilliant Halloween event. And yeah, I want to talk about it because they had some really unique mazes, very out there attractions as well at that. So that year they had 5 mazes, and most of them were pretty interesting. The first one, I believe they brought back to Scare Kingdom, but called the Paradise Foundation. Now, this was a very freaky attraction. It was very out there, very sort of morbid and gory, and sort of the first few minutes were very story-based, with sort of talking to, doctors, kind of setting a really grim scene. It was a really, really good attraction, to be honest. The actors who were in the maze were usually dressed incredibly gory, wearing these very non-human bloody costumes. One was booned up in a balloon style, full of blood balloon costume. The other one had a dismembered corpse costume. It was all very gory and very bloody. It was pretty horrible. Disturbing is the word. The maze didn't have too many impact scares or anything, but it had a very psychological nature to it, which is pretty unique for a scare maze. I felt very creeped out in there. The theme overall, I believe, was sort of trying to depict people getting sort of poor people donating their bodies to rich people. Pretty gory and pretty horrific, to be honest, of a theme. And the sets and the actors were dressed in the most disgusting ways possible. And yeah, a brilliant maze, though. I gotta admit, it's not the most impact attraction. It's very subtle and disturbing instead of being in your face. The other maze they had was Dead and Breakfast and the Final Cut. This was kind of basically a gigantic maze, cut in half. So you do the Final Cut, and then you would have a little break, and then you go straight into Dead and Breakfast. The Final Cut was a brilliant maze, using a lot of different sci-fi films, themes. There's a room where it was pitch black, had an actor in this neon costume. The start was awesome. A lot of smoke. The sort of squeeze bags where you sort of went through the squeeze bag because that was kind of going into the movie. The cinema section was quite good. Again, some theatrical bits. Very unique attraction. A lot of different set pieces and crazy actor costumes like Paradise Foundation. Then Dead and Breakfast. Very more traditional maze, I'd say. Hotel themed. Brilliant Fag Ashley used to be there, which is a brilliant improv character. Generally, sort of this deranged woman who's just over it all. A little bit suspicious as well, but overall, just sort of making fun of everyone. Quite hilarious. So yeah, that was Dead and Breakfast and Final Cut. 2 brilliant mazes. I'd say the best mazes was probably the Final Cut. So the best maze, cuts out. The best maze was probably the Final Cut, in my opinion. It has the most unique sets, a lot of impact scares mixed in with psychological scares, and every room felt very different to the last room, which is really, really good. One of the best mazes I've ever been in. Just to round it off, you had the clown maze called Vecino's Forgotten Funhouse. This was a very eccentric clown maze. Pretty huge at points, all different rooms, massive different these characters, had a very, very distinct ending with chainsaws, though I'm gonna be honest, the ending I feel like was a bit flat, but just my opinion. But yeah, the maze was very oversized, a lot of unique rooms, checkered room, a lot of different sort of disorientating sets that were all pretty over the top, and I quite enjoyed them. The final maze was the worst. This is the park's mirror maze, basically just dressed up with some cloth and shit, and it wasn't very good. No scares, about 2 minutes long, barely a maze. So that's kind of it. I'd say for the four main mazes were brilliant, and then the fifth one was just kind of okay. But you had a lot of variety. You had a lot of eccentric sets in like the Paradise Foundation and Festinos. You had more of a traditional impact scare centric, the Final Cut and Dead and Breakfast. But yeah, definitely a really good event. I'm really sad that they got rid of it, but I'll be doing the next year's event review in about a week or so. But yeah, I think the Screamland is that it's kind of annoying actually. They had every year they seem to just completely change the lineup. They get rid of like basically everything. So if you really enjoyed all these mazes that 2016, all the mazes the year after are just completely different, and that's pretty annoying to be honest. But it's good, but annoying. But yeah, guys, have a good day. Like, subscribe. Actually, you know what, guys? Feel free to dislike. Please leave a dislike. I'm sure the engagement will help the algorithm. Anyway, guys, enjoy.